Never take no for an answer. There is one mentality that will separate the man who occasionally closes deals from the man who consistently closes deals. You never treat a no as the end of the conversation, because every single transaction is vital. Not some transactions, not the easy ones, every single one. You need to internalize that, because when you believe every deal matters, you fight differently for every penny. You listen harder, you prepare better, you ask better questions, and most importantly, you stop allowing objections to kill the conversation. Now let me be clear. This doesn't mean you ignore what the customer says. It means you understand that an objection is not a rejection. A customer saying, "I'm too busy," isn't necessarily saying no. They are saying, "Give me a reason to continue." A customer saying, "I need to speak to my partner," isn't necessarily saying no. They're saying, "I don't feel comfortable making the decision yet." Your job isn't to bulldoze them. Your job is to find a branch with that conversation. And if you've watched my video on destroying depression, you'll remember the framework. Never have one plan, have branches. If A happens, you go to B. If B happens, you go to C. If C happens, you have another route. Sales is exactly the same thing. You don't walk into a conversation with one script and pray the customer follows it. You prepare for resistance, because objections are predictable, and predictable problems should have prepared answers. So imagine you're at the beginning of the call and the customer says, "Look, I'm really busy." Most people will panic. "Okay, no problem, I'll call you another time." And just like that, they voluntarily killed their own deal. Instead, acknowledge it. "I completely understand, I'll be quick." Now let's say they push again. They're still saying they're too busy. You don't argue, you give them a reason to stay. That's completely fine. It will literally take me a few minutes to bring up what we can offer you. Either we can get you a much better deal, or you'll find you're already on the best deal available. Is that fair enough? Now you've changed the frame. You're not asking them to sit through a 40-minute sales pitch. You're offering them an opportunity to find out whether they're leaving money on the table. And that's the difference. You aren't fighting the objection. You're giving the objection somewhere to go. Now let's say they tell you, "I need to speak to my wife." Again, don't panic, and don't immediately say, "Okay, I'll call you back." You acknowledge it. "I completely understand. It's exactly the same thing in my household. I don't make any major decisions without speaking to my wife first, unless I want to sleep on the sofa." A little humor, a little relatability, you lower the resistance. Then you bring it back to the reason they've considered the purchase. That being said, if this improves your household situation, I know my wife is perfectly happy for me to make that decision, and I'm sure your partner is the same way. Now, if they still insist, absolutely, I understand. But let me ask you something. What if she says no? And this question is critical, because now you're trying to identify the real objection. If they say she won't say no, great. You can respond, "Perfect. Then I need your signature here, here, and here." The deal moves forward. But maybe they say, "Well, if she says no, we're not doing it." That's excellent, because now you have another branch. So you can ask, and would she say no to the money, or would she say no to the product itself? This question is vital, because now you're isolating the objection. So if they say the money, you can go down the money branch. What about the money? Is it the deposit, the initial payment, the monthly payment, or the overall price? Now you're no longer fighting a vague objection. You've turned "it's too expensive" into a specific problem you can actually solve. So if they say, for example, it's the price, you can say, "Well, we wouldn't expect you to do business here unless the figures worked out in your favor. But I am confident that with the finance options available, we can look at plans and rates that will be agreeable and affordable for you. And now you're back in the conversation. But what if they say, she won't like the product? You go down another branch. Okay, so what would you suggest instead? And they might mention things like a smaller system size, things of that nature, and you can start customizing from there. Now you're discovering the actual barrier, and that's the point there, and that's really the skill. So control the conversation is what I'm telling you. You can see the point with what I'm making here. This is what controlling a sale actually means. It doesn't mean talking over people. It doesn't mean refusing to listen. It doesn't mean forcing somebody into a decision they don't want to make. It means never allowing an objection to become the automatic end of the conversation. Every objection should make you think, what's underneath this? What's the real concern? What's the real fear? What's the real barrier? And most importantly, what branch do I take from here? Because the amateur salesperson has one route. The professional has a map. The amateur hears I'm busy and ends the call. The professional hears I'm busy and knows exactly what to say next. The amateur hears I need to speak to my partner and gives up. The professional hears and starts isolating the real objection. The amateur gets one no and walks away. The professional asks, what does that no actually mean? That's the difference here. Every transaction is vital. You have to believe that. Because if you treat every transaction like it matters, you'll prepare differently. You'll learn your objection handles. You'll study the branches. You'll know what to say when they say they're busy. You know what to say when they need to speak to their partner. You know what to say when it's the money. You know what to say when it's the product. You know what to say when it's the timing. You won't be surprised by resistance. You'll be prepared for it. And preparation creates confidence. Confidence creates control. And control creates more opportunities to close. So stop thinking like a salesperson who has one script. Think like a chess player. Every move creates another move. Every objection creates another branch. Every conversation has another angle. And every deal deserves your best effort. Because you don't need every customer to say yes immediately. You need to become the salesperson who knows what to do when they say no. Treat every transaction like it's vital. Do not be deceived.